Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
What is up? Welcome into the GSMC Baseball Podcast. As we come to you on a Wednesday here, my name is Tom Dougherty, your host. As always, this podcast is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Time for some baseball talk, as we're going to go and cover the games from Monday and Tuesday, giving you the scores and pitching lines from that one. Then we'll give you some talk in the third segment and probably the middle of the second segment a little bit as well about the NL East race, which is still kind of sitting where we are from the beginning of the year. The Braves still up there. Phillies, Nationals, they win a bunch of games and they lose a bunch of games. They're a very volatile team, obviously dealing with some injuries with Steven Strasburg as well. Bryce Harper still hitting about 214. I mean, we'll see if he can get himself back up into the 300 level there, but it takes some work. It takes a little hot streak from Bryce, but the Nationals still minored around that. I mean, they're probably, they're 7 games over 500, but they're still in third place out there in the East. They still have a couple months to figure it out, though, for the Nationals, as they have those two pesky young teams. If I was the Nationals, I would just be so annoyed that the Braves have like their two veterans are playing really well. They have all these young players playing really well. The Phillies were probably the more scary team coming into the offseason coming out of the offseason on paper in the East, but I'll hold more of my comments about that for the second segment and third segment, and then I'll also give you an update from Omaha as well, as we're in the middle of the College World Series, the final series going on out there in Omaha. So let's start with the scores from Monday. And the highlights from this game: A's and Tigers from Detroit. The A's beat the Tigers 5-4. Scored a run in the top of the ninth inning to take the lead. This game, a lot of scoring in the late innings. The Tigers had a 1-0 lead going into the seventh. A's tied it up. Tigers took the lead right back. And then the A's actually tied it right back up 4-4 in the top of the eighth with 3 runs, and then they would win it in the top of the ninth with a run there. The starting pitchers in this one both were pretty good, as this game was decided late. Jordan Zimmerman went 5 shutout innings, allowed 4 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts for Zimmerman. No decision for him for the A's. It was Edwin Jackson, and that's actually another story to talk about. Edwin Jackson, with this start on Monday, tied a Major League record for playing for his 13th Major League Baseball team, MLB team, tying Octavio Dotel. They both have 13 teams in their career. So that's I guess a feather in your cap if you're Edwin Jackson. Is a pretty reliable guy, been able to find a home whenever he needed to. So and he pitched pretty well in his A's debut in 6 innings, 1 run allowed, 6 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts. For Edwin Jackson, he also gets no decision, but a quality start in your first start back in the big leagues for the Oakland Athletics. The A's got a home run from Stephen Piscotty, his 7th, and also from Judd Lowry, his 12th. The Tigers got a home run from Nick Castellanos, his 10th of the year. Royals shut out the Angels. The Angels still, look at that. The Angels are back to 3 games over. This is a team that was supposed to go off and compete with the Astros to win the West, maybe compete for a second wild card spot with Mike Trout, best player of the league, blah, blah, blah. They're 3 games over 500. Why don't you figure out a pitching staff there, Mike Scioscia? Why don't you stop wasting time going after a two-way player we don't know can actually stay healthy? Best ability is availability. Now he ain't hitting, he ain't pitching either. So you gotta figure that one out. Not that I'm knocking on Shohei. I love Shohei, but he's not playing right now. He can't, and even if he can't pitch, he's not hitting either. So interesting deal there, because once you're on the DL, you're on the DL. That's how it works. Trout, still hitting 325. Obviously, all these legendary numbers. Over 1,000 OPS. This is crazy, but they couldn't muster a run in this game. Only 3 hits against the Kansas City Royals. Tyler Skaggs actually pitched pretty well. That's the thing. When you finally get a good start from one of their starters, they can't score any runs. Skaggs went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 7 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts in this game. Takes the loss. A tough luck loss for Skaggs. His counterpart was for the Royals was a young pitcher by the name of Brad Keller for the Royals. He's about my age right now already. As he went 7 shutout innings, two hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. The 23-year-old, not my age, but he got the win there, his second of the year in those 7 shutout innings of the Angels. Supposed to be a vaunted Angels lineup, but couldn't get the win there. Yankees win 4-2 as they get past the Phillies in Philadelphia in Game 1 of that series. Losiga gets another win, his second win of the year. The young rookie there beats Vince Velasquez as the Yankees scattered a couple of their runs out throughout the whole game, looking like their home runs for the Phillies. Michael Franco hit his 6th of the season. The Yankees, Aaron Judge, his 20th, as Losiga went 5 1/3 innings, no runs allowed, 1 hit, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, as he was excellent in this one. I mean, you have a young pitcher like that, and if he's got good stuff, he's going to be tough to hit because the Phillies have never seen him before. They had Vince Velasquez going. He went 6 innings, 2 runs allowed, 3 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. Just that home run to Judge was the big blemish in that game, as the Phillies were not able to scratch much across the Yankees pitching staff there. Mariners beat the Orioles 5-3 in Baltimore. Win for Felix Hernandez as the Mariners get back in their winning ways. They still are 17 games over 500 in second place out there in the American League West, as they get the win in Baltimore. They're kind of on that East Coast swing. When you're the Mariners, that's kind of how you have to do. You're going to play the Yankees, Red Sox, and Orioles all in one go of it, as the home runs in this game came from Jonathan Scope, his 8th of the season. That was off Felix Hernandez. And then for the Mariners, Denard Span hit his 7th of the season as they get the win. Hernandez went 6 innings, 3 runs allowed, 4 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, just that home run. Cashner, also basically, let's say almost identical lines. That was Andrew Cashner with 6 innings also, 3 runs allowed, 4 hits, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, just the home run. As basically the same line, except for Cashner had 4 strikeouts and 4 walks and 3 strikeouts, and Hernandez had those flip-flop 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. Interesting. Love baseball. Marlins beat the Diamondbacks 9-5 on Monday in Miami, as the bats came to play here. A bunch of home runs for the Marlins. Justin Bour hit his 13th of the year, and for the Diamondbacks, Jake Lamb hit his 6th. In New York, the Mets can't get by the Pirates. Pirates win 6-4. Mets try to come back a little bit. They scored 4 in the bottom of the 7th. If that was all they were able to get, the Pirates able to hold on there for the victory. Home runs in this game. Wilmer Flores hit a 3-run homer for the Mets in the loss. Polanco for the Pirates hit his 10th of the season, and then Josh Bell hit his 5th of the season for the Pirates as well. In this one, Gregory Polanco getting that home run. He's got a sweet swing. Rays beat the Nationals 11-0. They swept the Nationals. Actually, they went on Tuesday too. Sorry for the spoiler alert there, but they get the shutout win on Monday behind a Blake Snell start. He's well on his way to DC this year. 7 shutout innings, 1 hit allowed, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts for Snell. As 103 pitches, that's pretty good right there. His 10th win of the year, lowers that ERA down to 2.31, as he'll be a nice addition for the American League pitching staff there in D.C. Home runs for the Rays. Kevin Kiermaier hit his 1st of the season. Wilson Ramos hit 2, as he's going to be headed to D.C. as well. Ramos hit his 10th and 11th of the season for the Rays. Nationals could not scratch across the run. And in Atlanta, the Braves get a walk-off win. Braves beat the Reds 5-3. They get a win in the bottom of the 11th inning, as it took extras to get this one. The walk-off hit was a Ozzie Albies solo homer to win that one in Atlanta, as they continue their winning ways there. So Albies hit his 17th of the season for the Braves. That was the only home run there for the Braves. And then Scott Schiebler hit his 10th of the season for Cincinnati, as they take the loss there in Baltimore. For the Braves, they had a nice pitching performance from Mike Foltynewicz. He went 5 innings, 1 run allowed, 1 hit, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Just that home run to Schiebler was the blemish for him on his record, as he gets the no decision. Obviously, this one was decided late in the game. Rangers beat the Padres 7-4 in Texas. They get 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning to take the lead, and they would hold on to get the win there at home. as there was a no home runs there for the Rangers. The Padres got a home run from Manuel Margot, his third, and Pirela hit his second of the season. Those are both off Cole Hamels. Billy, his only blemishes of the game, as he went 5 innings, 4 runs allowed, 9 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 2 homers. Were those run-scoring hits for the Padres, but he gets his. That's the actually no decision for Hamels, as the Rangers were able to take the lead late in this game. The bullpen was able to hold on there for Texas. Blue Jays beat the Astros in Houston. A rare home loss for the Astros. They've been very, very, very good at home, as they're almost to 30 games over 500. Well, they're 24 games over 500 as of Monday. They won. We'll find out what they did on Tuesday in just a moment here. But on Monday, they did take the loss as the Blue Jays were able to break the tie in the 7th inning and then also extend the lead in the 8th. The Astros got a home run from Alex Bregman, his 12th of the season off J. Happ. And the Blue Jays got a home run, too, from Curtis Granderson, his 8th and 9th for Granderson. And then Randall Grichuk hit a big home run on Monday, a long one, his 9th of the season. That was in the 8th inning to extend the lead. J. Happ was nice. He got his 10th win of the year. I don't know, is he going to be on the way to D.C.? I know he's going to be on the way somewhere coming in July. He's going to probably be traded for sure, likely to a team like the... I want to think the Astros, probably the Mariners, or maybe the Brewers would be a team for him. We'll probably have to do a little segment coming up here, a trade deadline special show on this podcast in the next few weeks here. As Happ went 6 innings, 3 runs allowed, 7 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, just that home run to Bregman as he gets the win there in Houston. Cardinals shut out the Indians 4-0 behind a nice pitching performance from a young spot starter. It was Gant for the Cardinals who came up to make the start, as John Gant. Just I think he's only made a couple starts in this season, as he got the win there. Went 7 shutout innings, 1 hit ball, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts for Gant, as he was very good in this one, as he beats Mike Clevenger, who gave up 2 runs over 5 innings. The Cardinals, no home runs in this game, as they scored their runs throughout this game, 2 in the third, really to take the lead, and would hold on to win there. Dodgers beat the Cubs on Monday as well to finish off this Monday slate. 2-1 was the final in Chicago, as Kenta Maeda actually he's been very up and down for the Dodgers, as he gets the win. He's actually very good, as he went 7 shutout innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts for Maeda in this one, as the Dodgers got their runs both off of home runs. It was a Kike Hernandez solo shot in the 2nd inning, and then a Chris Taylor home run in the 8th inning off of Wilson to give them the lead, and they would hold on to win there. Kenley Jansen getting his 20th save of the year already for the Dodgers, as he did give up a run in that 9th inning, the only run the Cubs could score, but he was able to shut it down. Cubs scored on a Javier Baez sacrifice fly. That was all they could muster in this one, as it was an interesting day. I mean, in baseball, we have obviously Mondays are your off days for a lot of different teams, and you only get a shorter slate, but a lot of good action there on Monday, as we'll take a break really quick and come back for the games on Tuesday, and then we'll give you the updates. Actually, quickly before the break, I could just squeeze this in now. We do want to do the quick little box score for the College World Series. I have a little time here at the end of the segment. The College World Series, actually, Game 1 was yesterday. Game 1 was supposed to be on Monday, but they had to postpone it due to that tough weather out there in Omaha, as they had to play Game 1 yesterday from TD Ameritrade Park, as they actually got some good weather for that game, as the Arkansas Razorbacks actually were able to get the win in Game 1. That was a final score of 4-1 over Oregon State, as they had a nice pitching performance. They got some good pitching there in Arkansas. I mean, this is the 5th seed versus the 3 seed, so these are both very, very good teams. As it was for the Razorbacks, it was Knight for them, who was the starter. He went 6 innings, only had 1 run on 7 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts for him, as he gets the win in that one. And the Razorbacks looks like they're well on their way to get this College World Series wrapped up. I mean, if they win today, it's over. Obviously, they have to be beaten twice. Oregon State's already done that once. They beat Mississippi State twice to get to this point that they are now, and they probably could do it again. But it's going to be a big task for them, as obviously Arkansas knows what they're doing. They got some good players, and they got some good pitching, obviously, as well as they have continued to play well. Blaine Knight. I was trying to what's the guy's first name? Blaine Knight. Got to give him his due diligence. He pitched very, very well against a very, very tough Oregon State team. Not only do they have first-round picks this year with Nate Magical and the other kid, their first baseman as well, but their catcher, that's Adley Rutschman, is going to be a early first round pick next year as well. So good for him as they will try and wrap it up today from Omaha. All right, we'll come back after the break and give you the games from Tuesday, and then we'll give them some talk on the NL East and the Indians race as well in the NL Central. So we'll do kind of a whole overview as we do on that third segment. So everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, welcome back. GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Wednesday today here as we're going to cover the games from Tuesday, just from yesterday. A day ago, as we'll start out in San Francisco. The Giants get the win over the Rockies 3-2 as they scored a run in the bottom of the eighth inning on a bases-loaded walk by Gorkis Hernandez to take the lead after the Rockies actually had tied it up in the top of the eighth inning. They got a nice pitching performance from Derek Holland, actually, the old Dutch oven there, coming over and actually has pitched well for the Giants as he gets a no decision, went 6 2/3 innings, 1 run allowed, 6 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. The really only blemish was the solo home run by Ian Desmond. That was his 16th of the year. Sorry, he had a double as well as 9th double, but his 16th home run of the season for Ian Desmond. Chad Bettis pitched for the Rockies. He was also pretty good as he went 6 1/3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 6 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. His one blemish was a solo home run allowed to Gorkis Hernandez, his 10th of the year for San Francisco, as he's actually climbing up the ranks in the home run ranks for that team, as he has really turned it on as of late. But the win goes to Tony Watson in relief. No decision for both starting pitchers. Sam Dyson gets his 3rd save of the year for the Giants. There's the other win for the Rays, as I kind of teased it in the last segment. The Rays shut out the Nationals again. This one was a 1-0 win as the Rays scored a run in the first inning on I think it was a sacrifice fly or an RBI ground out by Jake Bowers in the very first inning, and that was it. That was all the runs in the game. The Nationals were shut out for the second game in a row, which is saying something when you have guys like Anthony Rendon and Zimmerman, and no Zimmerman right now, but Daniel Murphy's back. Obviously Bryce Harper, you got Soto in there. Harper did have a hit as he's raised his average up to 219, a cool 219 for Bryce Harper. He got a double in the game yesterday in Tampa Bay, but they do take the loss, a tough luck loss for Max Scherzer as he was excellent. 7 innings, only that 1 run allowed, 4 hits, 3 walks, only 4 strikeouts for Scherzer, which is seems pretty low, but you'll be able to. It's just a thing for Scherzer. You never know he's going to get those big strikeout days. But Nathan Eovaldi actually was a starter for the Rays. He used a real starter as pretty much it's Eovaldi and Snell. Other than that, you're going to have that reliever starting. Maybe they turn Wilmer Font into a starter. We'll see how he bounces back after pitching quite a bit last time out. But Eovaldi went 6 shutout innings, 1 hit allowed, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. He's made a great return actually to the major leagues. He's 2-3, but he's actually pitched pretty well with the 4.08 ERA right now in his short time here back with the big league club. Yankees shut out the Phillies behind another great pitching performance from Luis Severino. He's really turned into their ace out there in New York, but this game was in Philadelphia. But the Yankees are from New York, and Severino's their ace, as he is now 12-2. He beats Jake Arrieta in this one, as the Yankees were able to get some runs off of Arrieta early in this game. Arrieta gave up 3 earned, 6 total, as they were dealing with some errors, a couple of home runs allowed over 5 innings of work. 5 strikeouts as well for Arrieta. The Yankees got a home run from Aaron Hicks, his 11th, and Didi Gregorius, his 15th of the year. Severino went 7 shutout innings, 6 hits, no walks. That's a great sign. And 9 strikeouts for the young right-hander. His 12th win of the year. He could be a definite candidate to start for the American League in D.C. in a couple weeks out there for the Midsummer Classic. Mariners beat the Orioles again Mariners beat the Orioles in Baltimore. I think the Orioles actually won the game before. That was just a segment ago. But the Mariners got the win 3-2 behind a nice pitching performance from James Paxton as he gave a run up early, but then he was able to settle down and really get into his groove in this game. As he went 7 innings, 2 runs allowed, 6 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts for Paxton. Really, the only blemish was a solo homer from Danny Valencia, his 7th of the season. The Mariners got a home run from Kyle Seager, Corey's brother, Kyle Seager, his 14th of the season, a solo shot as well. That was off Gosman, who also pitched pretty well. 6 innings and 1 run allowed, 5 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Dick got the no decision because the Orioles were not able to hold on late. They were actually up 2-1 going into the top of the 8th inning, and the Mariners were able to get 2 runs off of the bullpen there to take the lead. It was a Kyle Seager 2-run single, so he drove in all the runs for the Mariners yesterday in that victory over the Orioles, who are 22-55. Ouchie. As they look to still see what they're going to do with, I think people are more worried about what they're going to do with Manny Machado versus actually winning baseball games right now. But we'll see what happens when we get there. The D-backs, they beat the Marlins 5-3 as they get the win in Miami. They scored, it looks like they took the lead there in the 5th inning. Zach Godley gets his 9th win of the season as he was pretty good in this one. I like Zach Godley. That curveball is really tough to hit as his only blemish in this one was a solo home run by Starlin Castro. That was his 4th of the season as Godley went 5 innings, 2 runs allowed, 6 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts to that home run. The D-backs did not hit a home run this one, a few doubles, but no home runs for the D-backs, but they got the runs they needed and got the win 5-3. Red Sox beat the Angels 9-1 in this game as the Angels again still can't get out of their own way. It's seeming like now they're 41-39 now as they get the loss in Boston. It was kind of a lopsided victory as the Angels. I mean, they couldn't really hold the Red Sox off the scoreboard at all. The Red Sox looked like they got single runs. They got single runs in 5 different innings. They also scored 4 in the 2nd inning. That's kind of helpful as well. But the Angels. They started off a series. It was kind of a weird deal. They played on Monday. They had to play a makeup game in Kansas City on Monday and lost 2-0. That was a game that was rained out from earlier in the year, so they kind of lost and off to the Yankees. Had to do the same kind of thing the other day. So it looks like they had to go. They were in Toronto. They were at home against Toronto. They went to Kansas City on the way during that off day. Played that game. One game stopover, and then they go to Boston and get blown out as they had that young pitcher Lamb for it looked like it was a poor man's Noah Syndergaard. I always saw a bunch of stuff on social media. It's like John Lamb is his name. It's like Noah Syndergaard with direct. It's like they made the DirecTV commercial joke, but he only lasted an inning and 2/3 as he got taken out after that four-run second inning, or during that 4-run second inning for the Red Sox. Had some trouble with some defense as well, as he only gave 3 earned runs, 5 total, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, a home run allowed. That was to Mookie Betts, his 20th of the season for Betts. Jackie Bradley hit his 5th of the year for the Red Sox. Christian Vasquez hit his 3rd of the season, and JD Martinez hit his 24th of the season for the Red Sox, as David Price got his 5th win of the year, 6 innings pitched, 1 run allowed, 5 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Just the home run to Chris Young was the only run the Angels were able to muster, and this one, his 6th of the season for Chris Young. As the Angels lose again, they're getting closer and closer to being back to 500 as they're taking a deep dive. As they do a quick little update, they're 10.5. Well, wait, are they 11.5 back? The Oakland A's have now leapfrogged them. The Angels are in 4th place. in the American League West. I'm sorry. I don't want to laugh at him, but you have the best player in the league. He's putting up crazy numbers. He's not like Mike. I mean, I love Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper hasn't been able to sustain his success like Mike Trout has. Mike Trout has been able to sustain it, and they still can't do anything about it. All right, the A's. This is the A's. They leapfrogged the Angels because they were able to come back and beat the Tigers. The Tigers took a 6-0 lead early in this game. The A's made it 6-3. Tigers trying to extend it back to 7-3. A's then hit another home run, made it 7-6. Then they tied it 7-7 in the seventh, and then took a 9-7 lead in the top of the ninth inning to get the win. And this one, it's just the A's never say die. They also like to hit the long ball, as they got a home run from Pinder, his 7th of the season, and Judd Lowry, his 13th of the year, as that was how the A's came back. And this one, Frankie Montas gets off the hook as he got roughed up for the first time in his maybe the first or second time since he's been called up. But he went 3 innings to give up 6 runs on 8 hits. But the A's were able to come back against Blaine Hardy, as he gave up 3 earned runs, 6 total on 6 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Both those home runs were hit off of him in 4 innings of work. And then the bullpen was not able to hold on to it either after they had that 1-run lead. Mets beat the Pirates 4-3 in extra innings in New York. They get the walk-off hit by Wilmer Flores. Always seems to be Wilmer Flores, that guy. Remember, he was almost traded a couple of years ago and ends up not getting traded because of a physical that that didn't pass by some other player. And then he ends up hitting a home run that night, and there's tears everywhere. But he got another hit as he continues to perform for the Mets. They win 4-3 in this one, as they continue. Well, they continue to still kind of mire there at the bottom of the American League East. The National League East. Sorry, it's been tough sledding for the Mets right now. They get wins here and there. They get injuries from a pitcher. Now it's all the same kind of thing. Are they going to trade DeGrom? Or they're not going to trade DeGrom? It's like, no, that's all we're going to talk about now is because we suck. Is we're going to talk about getting rid of our players? We're going to become sellers at the trade deadline or not? As everybody wants to know what's going to be happening with the Mets and their future. As far as what happened in the game, they got that walk-off hit by Wilmer Flores. It was a single in the bottom of the 10th inning. In this one, Steven Matz actually pitched pretty well. Went 7 innings, 3 runs allowed, 6 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Gave up a home run in this one to Gregory Polanco, his 11th of the season. But the Mets also got home run from Michael Conforto, his 10th of the year, as they get the win there in extra innings. The Reds beat the Braves 5-3 in Atlanta, as the Matt Harvey actually gets his 3rd win of the season. I think that he's going to be a guy who might get flipped himself. And this one is he went 6 2/3 innings, 1 run allowed, 6 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Pretty encouraging there from Harvey as he gets the win. No home runs for the Reds, no home runs for the Braves in this one, as the Reds get away with the win in Atlanta. The Padres beat the Rangers 3-2 in Texas, as they get 3 runs in the top of the 8th inning to win this one. And steal one from the Rangers, as they got a good pitching performance from Deben Sturks, as he went 5 shutout innings, no decision for him. And home runs in this one, Brugnet Odor hit his 3rd, Robinson Chirinos his 10th of the season. And then Brewers beat the Royals 5-1. Freddie Peralta gets the win, as he was excellent in this one. The Royals were only able to score a run in the top of the 8th inning, as the Peralta was excellent. He went 7 shutout innings, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Brewers got a home run from Christian Yelich and Aguilar, his 17th of the year. Yelich, that was his 11th. Ryan Braun hit his 9th of the season. Twins couldn't get by the White Sox. White Sox win 8-4 in Chicago. Got to get through here really quickly, as we're going to come to the end of the segment here. I want to just cover some of these other games. Astros shut out the Blue Jays 7-0 behind an excellent Charlie Morton start, as he gets his, I think that's his 10th win of the season for Morton. 7 shutout innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 13 strikeouts for him, as he's been a machine. Jake Marisnick hit his 6th of the year. Alex Bregman his 13th of the year. And then in St. Louis, the Indians can't get the Cardinals beating up on the Indians. 11-2 was the final in St. Louis. Carlos Martinez pitched nicely as they beat up on Corey Kluber, actually. In this one, the Klubot not looking good at all as Martinez beats him. Martinez went 6 innings, 2 runs allowed, 6 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. As Kluber got knocked around, it only lasted an inning and 2/3, 6 hits, 6 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 2 home runs. The Cardinals got 2 home runs from Matt Carpenter. His 14th and 15th. Jose Martinez hit one off of Kluber as well, his 12th, and Colton Wong, his 6th of the season in the win for the Cardinals. And then lastly, the Cubs beat the Dodgers in L.A. John Lester gets his 10th win of the season, as he was pretty good in this one. The big blow was a grand slam by Javier Baez, as that was his second home run of the game, actually, his 15th and 16th of the year, as that was the big offense for the Cubs. That Lester went 5 innings, 2 runs allowed, 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts in the game, as he got his 10th win of this season. Nicely done, John Lester. Nicely done, Cubs. Beat those Dodgers. All right, that'll wrap it up for the games on Tuesday. We'll come back and do some talk on the NL East a little bit. Like we were in the beginning of the show, the Indians, see if they can turn it around after a tough 2 games in St. Louis, but they still hold a pretty good lead now in the Central, as I think it's 7.5 games there, 8 games over 500. That's just fine. The Indians will be nice and comfortable there. Yeah, they're 7.5 up on the Twins in second place, so they're just fine there in the Central. So we'll do that when we come back, and then also do a little more talk on the College World Series. So everybody stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Wednesday here, as we're going to do some talk on the NL East and how that's going to work out. I mean, the NL East has been kind of weird this year, obviously. You know the Phillies are probably going to be up there. You think the Nationals were going to be the favorite. The Braves kind of, obviously, you get all your young players playing well. You have your two veteran players as top guys probably headed to the All-Star game this year as well. You got to remember, this is only the first half. We're not even to the All-Star game yet. I mean, this is right at the halfway point for a lot of different teams. We're at 81 in games right now. You got a whole second half of the season. A lot of stuff happens in September. All these games. Yeah, I mean, if you get into December, if you reach September 1st and anybody's within 5, 6, even 7 games, anything can happen. I've seen it in 2010, being a Giants fan, knowing that the Giants were almost pretty much out of it. Like, what were they, 9 games back behind the Padres in 2010 in September? Padres lost like 10 or 11 games in a row. Giants came back all the way, won the division, ended up winning the World Series. So it can be done. If you're a Cardinals fan, don't fret. If you're a Nationals fan, I would fret a little bit, because the Nationals have a tendency to disappoint, whether it's untimely injuries or slumping sluggers, what have you, or losing close games. I mean, they got shut out 11. I mean, what's the difference? You got shut out 11-0, and you got shut out 1-0 the game after that. I mean, no, what's the difference? You didn't score any runs anyways. They went 0 for Tampa Bay when it comes to scoring runs. I mean, did they play again? I don't think they play again today. Usually those games are just like little 2-game series out there. Those interleague series are only 2 gamers. So yeah, I don't think either of those teams are playing today, actually. So we have a short slate on a Wednesday, which is kind of weird, but that's kind of how it's happening. Sometimes you get a day off on a Wednesday because of these 2-game interleague series that they're doing. these last few years. But can't knock the Braves. They're kind of sitting right around. They're playing 500 ball, looks like right now, and they're a nice 8 games over 500, 3.5 clear of the Phillies. So just keep. I mean, you could stay right where you are. The Phillies. I don't think the Phillies are really going to do much. They've actually lost 3 in a row. So they're going to go as far as their young pitching takes them. The Braves, though, are going to go as far as their young pitching takes them. If you like veteran pitching, you probably be more thinking the Nationals can overcome that 4-game deficit and come charge right back and take over that division, which they can. There's absolutely no reason why they can't do that. They have the bats. Bryce Harper can wake up on the day after the All-Star game and all of a sudden just be the hottest hitter on the planet. He can wake up tomorrow or this morning and be the hottest hitter on the planet. It's Bryce Harper. He's got the pedigree to do so. And then same thing with Scherzer. Obviously pitched well yesterday and lost. Got to get some run support for him. You get a Steven Strasburg back. The thing is, the rotation, you saw Gio Gonzalez got lit up by the Rays. So the Rays are actually playing pretty good baseball right now. They swept the Yankees. You got to give them credit. They're playing good ball. They're only game under 500. But they beat up on Gio Gonzalez. Then you have Tanner Roark, who hasn't pitched that well, and then you have kind of nobody. You have that young Ross kid. They also have Jeremy Hellickson as well. So I think that when a team gets on a hot streak, when a team gets on a hot streak when all their starters are pitching decently. If you can get some quality starts going in a row, then you start getting some shutout starts going in a row, then you start seeing 5 wins. We got 2 sweeps in a row. Okay, now we've gone through a full rotation of wins. So there's getting victories for your pitcher, but I like actually looking at a win-loss record for a pitcher is one thing. Look at Max Scherzer got a loss yesterday. He pitched 7 innings of 1-run ball. He gave up a 1 run on an RBI ground out in the very first inning, and then was lights out after that. Got a loss. That's not really the most. It doesn't really tell you that much as far as win-loss. But looking at a team's record when they start, giving your team the best opportunity to win. That's where you should look, and that's what the Braves have been doing. That's why the Braves are 3.5 games up in this division. They have veteran guys, Anibal Sanchez, Mike Voltynewicz now in that rotation. Well, Voltynewicz has been there. Sanchez is kind of coming into the rotation, and they have the young guys. They have the Newcomb kid. They have Soroka. They still have Julio Teheran, who's actually a veteran presence as well. So they got a nice little mixture. And they're all pitching decently well. Anibal, I think, had a little bit of a rough time of it, as they're all 5-5 in their last 10. So I haven't got quite on that groove yet. But as far as it going, rotation and bullpen is going to get you through the season. Hitting comes and goes. Hitting always comes and goes. The Yankees scored, they score 6 runs in Tampa Bay over the weekend. That's unheard of. They got shut out for the second time in the whole season over the weekend. It happens. Your bats go quiet. We get a good pitcher, but pitching is something that you can sustain. It's a different guy every day. You have to worry about it every day. And it's okay, is this guy going to be good? Is this going to be okay? Our rotation's hot right now. We're going to reel off some wins, because even if you get a hot rotation, you could win the games 2-1. You can win the games 3-0 or 3-1 like yesterday in Tampa. So it can work out that way, where you could take a lot of pressure off of your offense to have to really just bomb it every single time and win games 7-5 or 10-6 or something like that, or 9-8. No, you take pressure off. You don't score 9 runs. You can score 4 runs, like the Giants. They score 4 runs at home. They win. They have a 75% winning percentage when they score more than 4 more runs at home. I think they're 25-5 or something like that, which is probably more than 75%. So that's kind of the formula with baseball. Yeah, you can mash it all you want, but if you don't mash it, if your bats don't have it, you better hope you can pitch that day. You better hope. So it's kind of like when you obviously see teams get on a hot streak, it's when everything meshes. When you have your bullpen meshing, when you have games that you can convert 3-2 games. That's why the Mariners are 49-31 right now, because they've won probably, like I said, 80% of their 1-run games. They have I think half their wins are of a one run variety. So their bullpen, their closer leads the league in saves. It's kind of how it works. You play a lot of close games, but then again, what goes around comes around, and that can happen at the end of the year, where all of a sudden you start losing a lot of those close games. And the Mariners right now. I know I put the Indians up there on my list. I talked about the NL East a little bit, but the Mariners right now are the most interesting. Is the most interesting race. They're only 3.5 back of the Astros. I don't see the Astros really faltering. I see if I was to pick one team to really fall off, but at the end of the year, it would be the Mariners because of their travel, because of the fact, I know it's chartered planes, luxury, blah, 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 but it's still a lot of sedentary, a lot of long flights. That wears on you. These guys they're athletes. They need to be spry. They need to be up and at them. And these long planes can lead to, sore, achy muscles, cramps. You play a lot of baseball games. It's a long season. It gets you, especially coming in the next 2 months are going to be the big tests, because obviously in September you get a reprieve. You get your call-ups in September. You get a reprieve. You get the young guys coming up, give you a couple days off here and there. But in July and August is the real meat grinder of the Major League Baseball season. And hopefully we'll see what teams make moves in the offseason. Moves in the trade market, obviously. But this Mariners team, I think they're going to obviously make a move, whether it's a hitter or a pitcher. We're going to see. I think they're going to get Robinson Cano back. His suspension that doesn't last the whole season, so he'll be back. But then you do have to figure that the Astros aren't going to go anywhere. The Astros are going to keep winning. They're going to keep winning at a clip that they're winning right now. They win 65%. They've won 65% of their games. They're probably going to win 65% of their games going on. So you got to give them credit for that. So that makes you look at the wild card then. And the Indians, they're fine. They're in the Central. They're 7.5 games up. I think they're just fine. Their rotation, honestly, is good enough where when it is good, I know Kluber just got roughed up his last start, but when it is good, Clevenger's great. Bauer's great, Kluber's great, Carrasco when he's healthy is great. They have those guys that kind of whether it's Shane Bieber or it's the other guy Plutko, who they bring up to make be that fifth starter. So they have options, and they can figure that out. You got to leave it to Terry Francona to figure it out there. But as far as the wild card goes, in the American League, it's going to be pretty much the whoever finishes in second place in the American League East. Honestly, Red Sox or Yankees, we know that. And then right now Seattle is sitting pretty at number 2. The top 2 teams in the American League wild card are the Red Sox and Mariners. The Mariners are 7 games clear of the A's, who are the next team. And they have three American League West teams actually over 500. You got to give them credit there. Or actually, make that four American League West teams all over 500. But the Angels are only 2 games over. They're 8 back of the second wild card right now with the Red Sox, so that 4-game buffer zone. But they obviously hope to win the division. So whether it's going to be the Mariners, I think the Mariners will probably sit right there. They'll probably be fine. They'll probably be fine sitting right there. But say something crazy happens and you are the Yankees and you finish in second place, or you're the Red Sox and you finish in second place in the East, and the Mariners miraculously overtake the Astros and win the West, then you get Justin Verlander for that wild card game. That would be awesome, honestly. I would love that. Mariners win your division, get to the playoffs, have fun in there, probably lose. But then the Astros, make the Astros play that 1-game playoff and have them beat the Yankees in that 1-game playoff. That'd be crazy after those seasons. But yeah, so you face Severino. That's the thing. That's what I've talked about before in the show. The Yankees, if they do have to play in that 1-game wild card, regardless who they play, whether it's I don't think, honestly, if I was putting my money on it, I would not say I think the Astros are going to be just fine winning that West. It probably is going to be the Mariners. Unless the A's go on some run, the Mariners really tank. I don't see that happening, though. But the A's have won 8 of the last 10. You got to give them credit. They're 4 games over 500 right now. But the Mariners, they're going to put James Paxton out there or Felix Hernandez. I think they might be better to put Felix Hernandez out there because of the fact that the Yankees have so much right-handed power. Sanchez right-handed, Stanton, Judge. The only real left-handed power they have is, Greg Bird and Gregorius, and that's pretty much it. Everybody else is right-handed. Aaron Hicks is right-handed. The other kid, Austin's right-handed, so they have Gleyber Torres is right-handed. So they have everything. Everybody's right-handed. So I would maybe put. James Paxton's probably just fine against righties as a starter. He's got to be good against lefties and righties. But the Yankees mash left-handed pitching, and I would I don't know. I would save James Paxton and say you get past. You're planning on getting past that game, so you have to plan for Game 1 of the DS, and you're probably going to play the Red Sox. So. That's the other cool thing about the fact that these 2 teams are fighting so hard to win the division. Honestly, actually, the Astros could have something else to say. They could be the number 1 seed in the East. In the American League. Sorry. So but say that the American League East winner has the best record in the American League? The Yankees or Red Sox. And then the other team goes to the wild card game, wins that wild card game. Now the ALDS is going to be those two teams, the Yankees, Red Sox. The ALDS. That'd be pretty cool. And then it'll be Astros, Cleveland. So you deal with that. But we're a long way off from that. I would say that you're going to put Severino out there for that wild card game. Yankees, you want to win the division so bad because you don't want to have to worry about putting Severino out there for that wild card game. Win the wild card game. And then what? Tanaka, game 1 of the DS. Sonny Gray, CC Sabathia doesn't really wow me. It's not a big stopper that you would want. Not the Severino you'd want in game 1, which is what you would get if you were to win that division. All right, that'll wrap it up for the show today as we'll come back and do some preview for the wrap it up for the show. We're not done yet. Whoa, hold on, Tom. Getting way ahead of yourself. Wrap it up for the segment as we'll come back and do some preview for Wednesday and Thursday's games around the league, and then also a little preview for the game today out in Omaha. So stay tuned, and we'll cover that in just a moment.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Wednesday today. Here's we're going to cover the games for you today around the major leagues and also the game out in Omaha. It's going to be game 2. We'll do that first actually right now. The game 2 of that College World Series final from TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha as the Oregon State Beavers are down to their last chance again as they've faced elimination a couple times. Actually, I think 3 times now. Actually, they had to play win a game against Texas Tech, and they had to win a game twice. They had to beat Mississippi State twice, which they did do to get to this game, and now they have to beat Arkansas twice if they want to win the national championship. Arkansas only needing to win today to clinch their title for them, which would be a big deal down there. A win for the SEC team down in Arkansas, which is pretty cool, man. Arkansas football has been kind of down right now, so you don't really get the pub that you want to see. Obviously, you see everything that Alabama's doing, so it'll be a nice little feather in their cap to get, or a big feather in their cap for that program to get a title down there over there in Omaha right now, or get that title back down to Fayetteville, which actually is pretty cool. There's a lot of Alabama. You go watch that game. There's a lot of Arkansas fans. Fayetteville, Arkansas is only about 400 miles away from Omaha, Nebraska, compared to Corvallis, Oregon, about 1,300 miles away. So lots and lots and lots of fans representing the Razorbacks out in Omaha. So got to give them credit. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm totally impartial when it comes to this. Beavers have championships. They won in 06 and 07. Obviously a while back, but they got some good players, and I think that they are going to play well, as they already have shown that they can with their backs against the wall. All right, let's get to the games for Wednesday around the major leagues. It'll be the Rockies and the Giants playing again. It'll be Madison Bumgarner making another start. He pitched very well his last time out, a shutout performance, as I think he went 7 or 8 shutout innings. And his last time, he'll face Kyle Freeland, who's 7-6 with a 3.55 ERA. Bumgarner just 1-2, as he's only had 4 starts. He's 3.20 ERA on the year for him. The game going on right now actually is in Atlanta. The Reds and the Braves have already gotten started. They're in the top of the 4th inning as I'm recording this now. Game might be getting, I'll probably still be going on a little bit when this is live, but it's 2-0 Reds right now. It is Sean Newcomb pitching for the Braves against the Reds, and he's already given up a couple of runs, 1 in the second and 1 in the third. For the Reds, they have Luis Castillo pitching, so a couple of young arms out there for these two teams as they look to see how their future will hold in this league, as they have 2 guys who they hope that will be effective for them for quite a while. In Milwaukee, it'll be the Royals and the Brewers getting started early today, a 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time start. Danny Duffy against Brent Suter. Duffy is 3-7 with a 5.18 ERA, 76 strikeouts against Suter, 8-4 with a 4.15 ERA, 76 strikeouts, or 67 strikeouts. Just flip those numbers for me. Astros and Blue Jays from Houston is going to get started. It'll be Marco Estrada and Dallas Keuchel. Both guys looking for their 5th win on the season. From Philadelphia, the Yankees and the Phillies will be going again. It'll be Luis Cessa for the Yankees, a young right-hander. He'll make his first start of the season. Obviously, he's been in the bullpen 4 times. He's appeared out of the bullpen over 6 innings of work. As he's a even 3 ERA with 7 strikeouts. He'll fake Zach Eflin, who's 5-2 with a 3.44 ERA. In Baltimore, the Mariners will face off against the Orioles again. It'll be Wade LeBlanc and Alex Cobb. LeBlanc's 3-0. Alex Cobb's 2-9. He'll look to get his ERA down. He has not been what the Baltimore Orioles were thinking of when they signed him during spring training. The Diamondbacks in Miami, again, for their series down there against the Marlins, will be Robbie Ray against Wei-Yin Chen. Both guys looking for their 3rd win on the season. The Boston Red Sox are going to be hosting the Angels yet again at Fenway Park. It'll be Rick Porcello hosting Andrew Heaney, a left-hander. Heaney 4-5 with a 3.42 ERA, 72 strikeouts against Porcello, 9-3 with a 3.44 ERA, 94 strikeouts on the year for him. In Detroit, A's and Tigers getting the series continuing out there. Chris Bassett against Mike Fiers. Bassett still looking for his 1st win on the year. Fiers looking for his 6th win. He's 5-4 with that 4.29 ERA on the year. 58 strikeouts for him. In New York, Pirates and Mets, Ivan Nova and Zach Wheeler, a pair of right-handers going for this one, as Nova looking for his 5th win of the year. We'll see if he's maybe a guy the Pirates want to move during the trade deadline. Zach Wheeler could be a guy also who could be flipped over as maybe for a team looking for some help in the rotation. Clayton Richard, a pair of left-handers, Clayton Richard and Mike Minor, the 2 lefties going in Texas as the Padres and Rangers continue their series out in Arlington. As Clayton Richard has been good this season, 7-6. I mean, 4.23 ERA could be a little better, but he's been pretty good. As he has been working it down from a 6.21 since before May 2nd, so he's been on a good trend. As he's had quality starts in his 8 of his last 9 times out. Mike Minor is 2-0 in his last 3 starts, so he's been pretty good too as well. So it'll be a nice little game down there in Texas. In Chicago, in the South Side, Twins and White Sox, Kyle Gibson against James Shields. Both those guys looking for their 3rd win on the season. Is they're only Gibson's 2-5, Shields 2-9. I mean, I keep making a joke about Shields saying, "What's he doing in Chicago?" I guess he just likes living there. In Cleveland, it'll be Shane Bieber against Jack Flaherty. As Bieber's been pretty good, 2-0 with a 2.45 ERA, 22 strikeouts. He got the win last week against the Tigers when he struck out 9. Flaherty's 3-2 with a 2.50 ERA. As he also pitched well in his last time, a 7-inning 1-run performance against the Brewers. And in the final game of the day today, it'll be the Dodgers hosting the Cubs again from Dodger Stadium as they continue their 4-game series out there in L.A. It'll be Kyle Hendricks against Alex Wood. Hendricks is 5-7 with a 3.73 ERA against Wood, 3-5 with a 4.13 ERA on the season. And then for Thursday, as I'll have a shorter slate, only 10 games on Thursday. It'll be Giants and Rockies wrapping up their series. John Gray against Chris Stratton. Gray 7-7 with a 5.52 ERA. He's been kind of shaky. Had a nice start his last time, but has had a problem with big innings. As sometimes he gets ballooned up on him a little bit. Chris Stratton been pitching well. He's had his best month of the year this year, as he's had a 2.48 ERA in 5 starts. So he's 8-5 on the year for the Giants. In Miami, the Diamondbacks and Marlins will finish up their series. Zach Greinke against Trevor Richards. Greinke's 7-5 with a 3.66 ERA, 102 strikeouts already for Greinke. He's pitching nicely. And then you'll be seeing Trevor Richards. He's 2-4 with a 4.91 ERA, 40 strikeouts. The A's and Tigers finish up their series in Detroit. Sean Manaea and Michael Fulmer. And this will be an early start out there in Detroit. Manaea 7-6 with a 3.40 ERA, 75 strikeouts Very similar over here. Michael Fulmer, not quite with a record 3-6, but 4.13 ERA, also 75 strikeouts. In Chicago, Twins do not have a starter announced yet, but he'll be facing Lucas Giolito, whoever it is. Looks to get he has a 7.10 ERA. I'll look to get that down, coming off his best start of the season. In Baltimore, Mariners and Orioles finish up a series. Mike Leake does not know who he's facing yet, as the Orioles have not announced a starter for this game out there at home. But Leake was excellent in his last start, as he threw 8 scoreless innings against the Red Sox in Fenway Park, as he's now 8-4 with a 4.11 ERA, 60 strikeouts. And Los Angeles Cubs and Dodgers finish up their series. Jose Quintana against Clayton Kershaw, pair of left-handers. Kershaw, very weird. I mean, he's got a 2.94 ERA, but obviously we know he hasn't made all of his starts this year. Has had a couple different stints on the DL, but he's 1-4 with a 57 strikeouts on the season. Quintana 6-6 with 67 strikeouts. 76 strikeouts. Sorry, 76 strikeouts for Quintana. 6-6 on the year. 4.26 ERA. In Philadelphia, the Nationals and Phillies will get a series started on Thursday. It'll be Tanner Roark against Aaron Nola, a couple of right-hander. Nola has been excellent this season, as he looks definitely on the way to D.C. for the All-Star game. 9-2 with a 2.58 ERA, 99 strikeouts. A lot of good young arms in the National League. We'll see. Well, very interesting. The American League's been pretty good in the All-Star games the last few years. We'll see. We'll do an All-Star game special for sure on this show, as we'll be here along with you while the teams are going over to. Everybody's going to D.C., but that'll be a fun one to cover, because I think the National League has a good chance this year, honestly. With their pitching, the American League, I mean, what's it going to be? Kluber and Severino, and I mean, that's about it seems like. I mean, honestly, who's been the really big starter? I mean, American League, National League, they got Scherzer, Nola. I mean, I'm trying to think of more. I'm trying to think off the top of my head of guys who just been really good, but obviously Scherzer and Nola, the two big guys that you have from the American League. Obviously, the American League, you have the whole Astros rotation can just go over there and pitch, and they'll probably be just fine if you're an American League fan. But the National League, you have Aaron Nola, you got the guys down there in Atlanta. You got a couple. Yeah, obviously Jacob deGrom. You got some guys out west as well. So whether it's going to be a Greinke or it's going to be a Patrick Corbin also, and good relievers as well. So will be a fun one from DC this year. And then in Tampa Bay, the Astros will actually be visiting the Rays on Thursday. They don't know who they're pitching tomorrow, actually. No starter announced for the game tomorrow for the Astros, but whoever will be pitching for them will be facing Ryan Stanek, at least for a little bit, as Stanek is one of those guys who does come in, pitch a couple different, either an inning or 2 or 3, and then they'll go with that piggyback starter for the Rays. They've been doing that seemingly effectively. I mean, they're only a game under 500. They swept the Yankees, and they just swept the Nationals in a 2-game series. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare against another top team in the league. I mean, the Nationals are kind of middle of the road right now, but they're about 500. In Boston, it's going to be Jaime Badia against Brian Johnson for the Boston Red Sox, as Johnson is making a start because Steven Wright went on the DL, so he'll make his first start since April 2nd. He's 1-2 with a 4.50 ERA, 33 strikeouts. Jaime Badia is 5-3 with a 3.40. He got inserted to that rotation early in when the Giants, I think, came to town back in April, and he's been in there ever since, not letting the spot go. Good for him. And then the Brewers and Reds will get a series started in Cincinnati, as Junior Guerra will pitch for the Brewers. He's 3-5 with a 2.82 ERA on the season, 74 strikeouts against Anthony DeSclafani for the Reds, as he is 3-1 with a 4.09 ERA on the year, 18 strikeouts. All right. Good show for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it as we go through all the games. So we had a nice couple games, good series going on this earlier this week. Cubs, Dodgers, Giants, Rockies. I mean, I know we had some disappointment, obviously, but if you're a Nationals fan, Rays taking care of the Nationals, but still some good baseball going on today as well. The Yankees are in action, as well as they are going to be in Philadelphia. That series starts. See if the Yankees can get a sweep of the Phillies. And also the Astros hosting the Blue Jays. Well, Red Sox and Angels. Red Sox Yankees actually comes up this weekend, so everybody get ready for that one. So I mean, next weekend I think as the Angels still play the Red Sox. But they'll finish up and get going to that. Yeah, I think it starts on Friday, the Yankees-Red Sox from New York. So that'll be exciting to get to that one. And then also the College World Series. Might see a new College World Series champion this year. Arkansas, if they get a win, they will clinch a title. And it'll be a pretty big party down there in Omaha, as they have a bunch of people already there watching the games. Obviously, I'm sure there'll be a fun one to be a part of, as the big all the fans there have been rowdy. They've been rowdy since the Super Regional, and they've been rowdy all throughout the tournament. Obviously, the Razorbacks, have they lost a game yet? I don't think they've lost a game yet. They were 3-0. They won their first 2 games of the round robin kind of thing. Then they beat Florida, which all they had to do was beat Florida once, and then now they're in the final. So that's the fastest way to make it to the finals. Win the first 3 games. Oregon State had to play 2 extra games and win them both to get to the final. So, and then they obviously lose the first game of the series. So Arkansas 4-0 for the tournament. They've only played 4 games, and if they get the win in the 5th one, they can clinch the title and bring back a championship to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Good for them. So we'll see what happens out there, and we'll be talking about it on Friday for sure. All right, we'll see you guys on Friday. Everybody have a good middle of the week. Go watch some baseball. Enjoy some of the series going on right now. We have a game in progress right now also. If you are bored, watch the Reds and Braves game. I'm sure there's some good guys. Actually, Newcomb's pitching right now, so you can go see how that young guy's pitching out there in Atlanta. So, and also Luis Castillo, great prospect to go watch as well. He's a great pitcher there for the Reds. Good guy to see, and we'll be seeing him in the future in the league as well, as he's a young kid. All right, back on Friday. Everybody have a good middle of the week. Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.